The 30th anniversary of the Challenger disaster this Thursday has a deep personal meaning for a local professor. Back in 1986, Mike Reynolds was a teacher at Fletcher High and a finalist for the ill-fated Shuttle mission.
He was picked to be a part of NASA's Teacher in Space program in the early 80s. Teacher Krista McAuliffe was ultimately chosen, and she died with the rest of the crew 73 seconds after liftoff. Tarek Miner sat down with Reynolds, who witnessed the Challenger disaster at the Kennedy Space Center viewing area.
Mike Reynolds was picked out of 12,000 educators nationwide to fly in NASA's Teacher in Space program, which was announced by Ronald Reagan in 1984. Reynolds says every time he thinks about the Challenger, he realizes just how fortunate he is to be alive.
Challenger, go with throttle up. Challenger, go with throttle up.
It was so surreal. It took probably a good minute for even someone like myself, who was familiar with launches and what happened, to really sink in what had happened.
30 years later, Mike Reynolds remembers the Challenger disaster as if it happened yesterday. The moment he realized all 7 on board the Challenger were dead, and one of them could have been him.
You know, you look in retrospect, and you know, it's one of these things that you say, you know, if not for the grace of God, you know, maybe I would have been aboard that orbiter.
Reynolds was a leading candidate for the Teacher in Space program while working at Fletcher High School. He beat out 12,000 other candidates from across the world, but NASA chose Krista McAuliffe based on her qualifications. McAuliffe was a high school teacher in Concord, New Hampshire at the time. Reynolds remembers meeting her as the two competed for the same position.
We got to know each other quite well, all the teachers in space, in that we did a variety of activities and meetings and training together. And so before Krista was even selected, I got to know her. Very passionate about history, a very good teacher, very bubbly, and would have done a wonderful job on orbit teaching students.
Reynolds, who had been enamored with space and astronomy as a child, covered launches for newspapers and worked at a planetarium. And even though he wasn't selected to fly on the Challenger, he hoped to fly in future flights that NASA had planned. On January 28, 1986, Reynolds, another Teacher in Space finalist, watched the space shuttle prepare for takeoff at NASA's viewing area, where 3 miles away from the shuttle itself, he remembers the red flags that would later lead to disaster.
And that morning, because NASA had these monitors set up at the press site with the teachers in space, they kept on showing these videos from the pad which showed these huge icicles hanging off the orbiter. And everybody kept on saying, "You're really not going to try to fly, are you?" So I think everybody was stunned. And of course, we didn't know about the warnings that had gone on behind the scenes. I think everybody was stunned when they picked up the count and they launched.
As the shuttle lifted off, no one at NASA, including Reynolds, was prepared for what would happen next. 73 seconds into the flight, a catastrophic failure originating in the solid rocket booster, leading to the disintegration of the orbiter Challenger and the deaths of the 7 people on board.
I think people were so much in shock at what had happened, because it was an anomaly like we in the United States had never seen with a manned space flight before. Remember, the only true tragedy we had had was the Apollo 1 fire. It really didn't sink in that we had lost the entire crew until maybe an hour after, because you always had the hope that the compartment itself would have separated, that there had been, maybe we just didn't see the orbiter come through, those sort of things.
Reynolds says the days and months that followed were the most painful in his life. But he made friends with families of the 7 on board, including Captain Dick Scobie's wife, June Rogers, and Greg Jarvis's parents. Reynolds says the horror the nation witnessed on that day deeply affected his life.
One was knowing that every day here on Earth is a gift. And so use that time wisely and, you know, stick to your mission, your God-given gifts. And that's probably one of the reasons that, you know, I love education so much and have stayed in education.
Reynolds says even after the Challenger disaster, he still had a desire to fly in a space shuttle. But it was a conversation with his mother, who was terrified of him taking that risk, that made him realize how his actions could affect others. The Challenger disaster resulted in a 32-month hiatus of the Space Shuttle program and the formation of the Rogers Commission to investigate the accident. I'm Tarek Miner, Channel 4, the local station.
Earlier tonight on Channel 4, we showed our hour-long special, A Rush to Launch, which revealed stunning information about what NASA knew before the Challenger launch and the warnings ignored. You have 2 more opportunities to see it. You can see it again Thursday night at 9 on this TV, and then on Sunday at 5 p.m. right here on Channel 4.